You guys, let's draw a magical frog together. I'm starting with really light pencil lines because we're going to mess up, and that's okay. It's still going to be a beautiful, magical frog. Or a gross, slimy frog. I mean, whatever. He's going to just be his own self. Look at how high up his legs go. They go almost to the top of his head. He's just chilling. So my pro tip is that a little bit of Sharpie goes a long way, especially because this picture is going to be mostly drawn in crayon by the time we're done. And the Sharpie's just so clean and makes a nice contrast. So I made his eyes off-center just slightly on purpose because I think frogs are adorable. And I think that's adorable. At the end of his mouth, you'll notice that I made the line a little bit darker. It makes it look like the mouth goes back more. And before we're moving to crayons, I'm making the line around him a little more defined so I can choose from my sketchy lines where I want things to be. And before we start the crayon, since you can't erase crayon, now's a good time to kind of look things over and see if there's anything you want to change. There's no shame in erasing, except that most of my erasers are kind of weird and dried out, and I need to fix that. If I'm adding any lettering or words to a drawing, I usually write them in Sharpie as well, just to keep them clean and crisp. And I love adding little extras like these little stars, but less is more. You don't need to add a ton. And I wasn't quite sure which color crayons I wanted to use, so you can see as I color through that I am using a plethora. I like using crayons because I like to show artists, younger artists especially, that you can be a real artist using even very basic supplies. One thing I don't skip out on is using Crayola crayons. I find other crayons are kind of like drawing with a candle, not my favorite. Sometimes the drawing can start to feel lost when you are adding all these extra layers of color. So you'll notice that I keep coming in and refining the line around my frog so that we can tell where his arms are, where his body ends, and the space he's taking up. So really, nothing is ever a single color. That's why I like to put all these extra colors. You can see I'm using like that dark orange and brown and black and a lime green and all sorts of different colors on top of each other. My only advice for the colors, besides be creative and use a ton, is use your darkest colors first with crayon. Because, like, let's say you start with yellow, sometimes it can be hard to put any darker colors on top of it. So I used all the browns and the blacks first, and then I come on top with the lighter colors like the lime green and the yellow. And as I'm doing his eyes, you'll notice I'm only coloring in the bottom so that it looks like it has the shine on it still. I decided to add a little orange, which frogs are not orange. What? That is crazy town. But actually, like I said, get creative with your colors. And I felt like the orange gave it a nice pop. And he's magic, so he needs to pop. So here's our Toil and Troubles frog. And if you make one, we want to see it. Share it with us on Instagram at Grandpa Beck's Games.